Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Crystal Flaffy, and today we're going to be talking about Latt. Reason for it, Latt is going to be the new Rebirth Mon for January. It's still December as I'm recording this, so it's still bulky, but it'll change on the 1st. Well, it usually changes because it goes by UTC or whatever that time zone is called, so it'll change, like, for EST people, it'll change around, like, 8 p.m. or something on the 31st, something like that. But anyway, let's just go right into it. There we go. Okay, so let's find fire real quick. Actually pretty happy that Latt is coming back around. It's been a little while, I think, so it'll be nice for newer players to get it. I know my alt doesn't have light or dark Latt, so I'll be definitely taking advantage there. For my main, I don't have any need for them, but it's good for my alt and for newer players, of course. But anyway, here's fire. So, overall, well, first, here's the evil one, which is really cute. Cute little puppy thing, I don't know. Has, like, it's, for fire, its hair is actually just weird. I don't know why it has that, like, comb-over thing going on. Here's the variant, which the variant colors look a lot more feminine. It's weird. Like, overall, I think fire just looks weird. Yeah. I guess I like the variant more, though. Oh, and if you tap it really quick, it's just like headbanging. Okay. Let's be serious now. Fire, Latt is an attacker. It has a pretty good attack stat for a Nat 3, and its HP is also good as well. Its defense is really low, which is not too bad because you're not using it to tank hits, you're using it to deal damage, and we'll go into that more after talking about its skills. So, it has, for its leader skill, it is attack up 30 to 35%, and on its 3-star, it is stun 40% 2 turns. Skill books make that 50% and give a 20% damage boost. On 5-star, it is recovery down, 60% 2 turns. Skill books bring that up to 70% and give a 20% damage boost there. Oh, before I continue, I forgot to mention, with the Latt Rebirth, we'll also be having, well, Light and Dark Mona will also be available in the Rebirth pool, which is really good. I'm really happy about that. I don't have Light Mona on my main, so I'll be very much looking forward to getting her. But the reason I bring it up is that I just wanted to let you guys know that I already have a Mona video, so if you want info on Monas in general, be sure to go check that out. Also, don't ask for a Mona video, because there already is one. You know, I'm going to start linking the playlist that I made for these videos, because I have been getting people asking about mons that I've already made videos on. So, yeah. Anyway, to continue, back to Fire Latt. So we already mentioned what the skills are, what they do, whatever. Where you'd want to use it. It's tricky finding a good place for Fire Latt, just because while a 2-turn stun on 3-star is really good, its activation chance is very low. So there isn't really any place that it'll thrive, but it can be useful, or it has use in PvP. First off, defense or offense doesn't matter. I should note that the recovery down isn't going to be very useful there. You know, it can help a little bit when you're facing teams that have mons that focus on healing. So if you're facing a team that has a Water Persephone, Fire Sansang, Light Succubus, things like that, it will half their heal, which is okay, I guess, but just overall it's not very desirable of a skill to have there. But, like, it's not completely useless, is what I mean. Unless they don't have any mons that have any sort of healing, then it is completely useless. But the stun is the main focus when it comes to PvP, as well as Tower of Chaos. It is good for floors 80 and 100. But again, it only goes up to 50% chance, which is really low. So just keep that in mind. It is unreliable, but if it does land, it is pretty good because it is 2 turns. You can also use for, well, you can try to use for Light Colossus for the recovery down, but because it's not on its 3-star, it is not, you won't be using the recovery down often, so it's very unreliable. And then also can be used for Wood Colossus to keep the healer from getting off the attack up heal just by stunning it for 2 turns. But again, because the stun is only 50% after books, it is again very unreliable. So overall, like, I think Fire Latt is okay, but it's just because its stun chance is so low, it's very unreliable. It'd be nice if it was at least like 60%. Like, I don't want to push like 70, 80% 2 turn stun because it is a nat 3, but a 60% would have been pretty nice compared to only going up to 50. How I would build it depends where you use it. I'd probably build it more of a bruiser build, just because, I don't know, because you do want it to do some damage because it is an attacker, but you also want it to tank hits. So like typically for, say, if I were to gem a Fire Arthur, which I'm looking at this as like a worse Fire Arthur, I would gem Fire Arthur bruiser build, HP attack defense, and so I would gem Fire Latt the same way. But anyway, that's going to be all for this one. You can also build it offensively, like crit attack, triple attack, whatever, attack, defense, something like that. Those are all viable as well, but I think they'd be less effective. But yeah, let's move on to water. I just Evo 3'd this Snowy. Very happy about that. Finally finished off all of the Snowies. Where is Latt? There we are. So, Water Latt is actually a, well, wait, first let's say the design. Something that I did just notice about Latt when just now making this video is that they all have different hairstyles. I think that is pretty cool. This one is a lot better than Fire's, in my opinion. Kind of reminds me of like the Grinch a little bit. I don't know why. Maybe because Christmas just passed. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of the Grinch. I like the regular, though, I think, in terms of the color scheme. Yeah. Looking at the stats, as a tank, it has really good HP for an Nat 3 tank. It's, well, for a Nat 3, I mean. And its attack and defense are both low. Its attack is obviously a little bit higher, but the point of Water Latt isn't to do damage, just to be survivable, so it is kind of unfortunate that its defense is a bit low, but we'll get more into that after the skills. So, on 3-star we have defense down, 60% 2 turns, skill books bring it up to 80%, give a 10% damage boost, and then on 5-star we have attack down, 60% 2 turns, and skill books bring that up to 70% and give a 20% damage boost there. Overall, the stats are really good. As you can see, it is a pure debuffer, and that makes it very good for Titans. Early, late game, whatever. Well, probably not late game. Early, mid game, it is very good. Eventually, you'll want to replace it with mons that have Courageous Strike and a debuff, or healers that also have debuffs, but Water Latt can last you a really long time. I do use it on my alt, and with it, it's very helpful since I don't have a lot of reliable attack down mons on my alt, so it's very helpful with that. And my water team for my alt is able to do about 10 mil on average against Fire Titans, so it is definitely a very good mon for that. You wouldn't really want to use it anywhere else, though. I guess you can use it against... Who would you want to use it for? Well, you can just use it for defense down in general, like if you don't have other good defense down mons. Say against like Dark Colossus or... what else? Yeah, I don't really know. pretty much just Titans is where you'd want to use it. I should point out, you do get Latt early on in the game. It is pretty much given to you for free in the first few stages of the game. Same thing with Fire Miho, just like that. I think you're given Fire Miho, Water Latt, and Wood Birdie. Pretty sure that's what you get, whatever. If you're still around that point in the game, hold on to that Water Latt. It'll be really, really helpful for you. And also, I suggest building more than one for your Titan team, at least early on. One at the top left, one at the bottom left. You know, that'd be really good. How I would gem it, normally HP defense would be good for debuffers, but because this one's HP is pretty high and its defense is really low, I think HP defense would be better, just to make it a bit more survivable, and it'll be easier to heal as well. But anyway, let's move on to Wood. Wood is a Nat 2, actually, whereas Fire and Water are Nat 3s, and Light and Dark are Nat 4s, which I think Latt is the... Oh no, Birdie as well. Birdie and Latt, I think, are the only mons where they have forms in the 2 stars, 3 stars, and 4 stars. Because Wood, Latt, and Birdie are both 2 stars. Water and Fire for both of them are 3 stars, and Light and Dark are 4 stars. I think it's just those 2 mons. But anyway, here we are with Wood Latt. Here's the variant. It goes that weird orange. I like the regular, just because it's still green. Looking at the stats, it is balanced type, but its stats lean more towards the tank side rather than balanced, which isn't bad at all. It just means that the type is somewhat mislabeled. But anyway, its HP is good. Nice 30k. Its attack and defense are okay. It is a Nat 2, so we're not expecting much out of its overall stats. They are pretty good. Low overall, of course, like compared to Nat 3s, 4s, 5s, whatever. But for Nat 2s, it's pretty good. Looking at the skills, so on 3-star we have Sap, 40% one type, one turn. And skill books bring that up to 60% and give a 10% damage boost. And then on 5-star we have Fatigue, 60% 2 turns. Skill books bring it up to 80%, give a 20% damage boost. There isn't much place you want to use this other than to evolve the other Latts. It can do something in Water Colossus just because the Sap, but the Sap being only one type, only being one turn, and only being up to 60% activation rate after books is very unreliable. There are much better sappers out there. Wood Seedler, for example, is much better and is still farmable. Obviously not as farmable as Wood Latt, since you can just catch it anytime, whereas Wood Seedler is a rare, so you have to hunt them down. But it's definitely worth it, since overall Wood Latt isn't that great. Fatigue in general doesn't have any use anywhere. So yeah, not much else to say about Wood Latt. If you really want to build it, you can. I'd build it like HP defense for Water Colossus. If I really wanted to use it, I would go defense over HP, just because the Water Colossus wants to sap you back. So your max HP doesn't really matter too much there. So you just want your defense to be high so that its regular hits don't do too much damage. But yeah, Wood is just use it to evolve other types. Get it to Evo 3 for the guide, that's a nice few gems. I think it's like, I don't know, I think it's like 75 gems you get for it or something like that, for getting Evo 3. So yeah, I would do that and then just use it to evolve the other ones. But anyway, let's move on to Light. So we have the first Nat 4 of the group. It's nice, like pinkish, white, whatever. And then this is more like gray. I don't know. I don't know which one I like more. I like them both. This is a tough one. Like, overall, I just think Latt looks cool. Have any of you guys seen that show? I think it's called Lunatics, where it's like the Looney Tunes characters, but like as superheroes or something like that. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of how like Bugs Bunny is portrayed in that show. So it's overall it's very cool. I'll go with the variant, I guess. But anyway, let's look at the stats. So it's a balanced type. Its HP is pretty good. It's almost 30k. And then its defense is okay as well at 2500. Its attack is a little lower than you'd like, you know, but it's not bad. Nothing terrible stat-wise here. Overall, with its stats, it's okay, just could be better, in my opinion. So then let's go to the skills. So we have Shock on 3-star. It is 60% one turn. Skill books bring it up to 70% and give a 15% damage boost. Then on 5-star we have Defense down, 80% 2 turns. Skill books just give a 25% damage boost there. Where you'd want to use it, you could use it PvP defense. You can use it for offense, but it's much better for defense. Just to be spreading that shock around. Then also you can use it for TOC, again for the same reason. You want it for that shock. Be really good against the Dark Odin for floor 80 and against the Dark Hades for floor 100. And how I would build it. For PvP, I'd build it either HP defense or HP defense. Either of those can work for it. For Colossus, maybe I would build it Bruiser build, but only if Colossus is the only place that I would use it. Putting an attack gem on it with a low attack stat like that isn't going to help you for PvP that much. But for Colossus, for TOC, it's nice there. Does it have a use in Colossus? No, not really. Yeah. I do want to point out, though, that this is pretty much just a worse Light Thor. It's not bad by any means, but Light Thor just does what it does much better. If we look at Light Thor here, so stat-wise, Light Thor has only a few points less defense and a bunch more HP. Its attack is a lot lower, but it's not meant to do damage. And then we look at its skills. Its defense down is only 60%, but I think skill books bring it up to 70. I don't remember. But then if you look at its shock, it is the same amount, so 60% there, but it is 2 turns, and I think skill books bring it up to 70% there as well. So just overall, it has a better shock, better stats, and its defense down might be about the same, because I don't remember what skill books do for it on its 5-star. But yeah, even though Thor is a much better Light Latt, that just means that you can use Light Latt for now until you get a Light Thor. It is a very good substitute until you get one. But anyway, let's move on to Dark, the last of the Latts. And where is it? It is right here. Oh, just in case any of you are wondering why I'm not accepting these rewards, I'm trying to let them pile up a little bit, because I do have a habit of, like, spending all my gems during fests. So I'm going to try to leave those there so I don't just throw them all away. Anyway, here's Dark Latt. Here's the regular. It is purple. I love it. Here's the variant. It is like nice dark gray, which I also love. I'm going to go with the purple just because it's purple, but they both look really cool. Stat-wise, it's an attacker. It has really good HP for an attacker. Its attack is okay. It'd be nice if it was like a couple 100 points higher, but it's nothing terrible. It's still good, but I'm just being a little greedy. I want a little more. Its defense stat is low, but that's okay. It's not meant to be tanking hits. Looking at the skills, it has adrenaline on It has adrenaline on 3-star, 25% skill books 20%. Skill books bring it up to 25% and give a 20% damage boost. On 5-star, we have Hunter, 30%. Skill books give a 20% damage boost there. Where you could use it, or where you'd want to use it, PvP offense, it's good there. Farming as well, you can use it for just siphon set, get that Hunter going. which is also the same thing, using it for DB10 just as an attacker there, and being able to sustain itself a little bit. Light Colossus as well, just being a dark attacker, getting damage there, and then Dark Colossus too, because it does heal itself with its 3-star, which is nice, and then of course being able to deal damage whenever it gets its 5-star, if it ever gets its 5-star, which with Dark Colossus isn't very likely, but if it happens, you know, still good. I do want to make a couple comments on its skills before I talk about how to build it or whatever. The fact that it has Adrenaline on 3-star is actually quite disappointing. Because it is an attacker, you're not going to be building it with much HP, and because the Adrenaline is based on the percentage of its max HP, you're not going to be healing that much. If you don't have any any HP gems or anything like that on it, you'll only have that 30k HP, and let me take a quick calculation of how much 20% is. So 6k, it's 6,130.4 is 20% of its max HP without any gems or anything. So you'll only be healing 6k with that 3-star, which isn't that much. It's very low. It would be so much better if instead of Adrenaline, it had HP Siphon, just because that is based on its damage, and you're going to be building it fully offensively. I should point out, like mons, say my Fire Wild Fang, who has HP Siphon rather than Adrenaline, when she attacks, she heals at least like 20k or something like that a turn, which obviously is much higher than 6k. So that is something I did want to point out. Also, whenever they do like balance patch suggestions or whatever, when they ask for feedback about that or whatever, this is a mon where I'd recommend people to suggest a change for, changing that Adrenaline to HP Siphon. And I would say the same thing for Dark Kiki, because they both have the same skills, I think. Dark Kiki might have Predator instead of Hunter, I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I know they both have Adrenaline on 3-star, which should be changed to HP Siphon. But anyway, rant over. How I would build it, because it is a dark attacker and it has Hunter on its 5-star, it is crit required, so I would definitely build it with a crit rate gem. It needs it, so crit rate attack, or crit rate attack crit damage, either of those could work. You can go crit rate attack defense. Its defense is low, so it could use that investment. Or you can go crit rate attack HP, because it will increase its max HP, which would make its Adrenaline do much better. Just to see how much an HP gem would give it. It would get to about 51.5k HP with 1 HP gem, 6-star plus 15. So its Adrenaline would heal about 10.3k after that. So just some quick maths for you guys with building it. But just know that if you put an HP gem or a defense gem, it'll do less damage because you didn't put an attack gem or a crit damage gem in that spot. But anyway, that's going to be it for these guys. How I would prioritize evolving and using them, whatever. Water would come first for early game players, just because it is very helpful for getting higher damage with your teams your water teams against Fire Titan. So it's very useful for that. And you can use it for debuffing for like Light and Dark Titan as well, but that's only if you need debuffers for that. For its main uses against Fire Titan. Then I would go with Light, because it is a very good substitute for Light Thor, which is a pretty good PvP mon. So until you get Light Thor, Light Latt is good to take its place. And also Shock in general is very good for PvP, so there's that. Then Dark would be next, because it's just a good dark attacker, but crit resistance does make it a little less viable, and the fact that it has Adrenaline instead of HP Siphon, again, isn't that great. If it had HP Siphon instead of Adrenaline, I would probably put it higher than Light. But until that change is, if that change is never made, I would put Light over it. Next, I would put Fire, just because that's done. While it has a low activation chance, it is still a good skill or a decent skill. And then wood is last because it is pretty much just evolution fodder for the other elements. And yeah, oh, I should mention the leader. I already mentioned what the leader skill was. I think I forgot to mention that it is specific to the Astro League, or whatever it's called, which I think also applies to Champion Arena. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. And Dark would probably be the best candidate for that leader skill if you only had one variant. Just because attack up, use it for offense, it's really good. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. I don't have any Latts built, so there's nothing that I can show you. I know the guide said that I had them Evo 3. I did use them for a while, but I think I just rebirthed them because I wasn't using them. I really need to stop doing that with my Nat Force. Well, my LD Nat Force. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Have yourselves a good day. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. I will be talking about Harlequin because it is going to be the 4-star rebirth for the 31st to the whatever, how many days. I think it's like 5 days or whatever. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.